In this video, you're going to see a segment of our tour of Chankanaab Park. There will be 4 or 5 segments of these videos to show you the entire tour. We had a guided tour. We saw the sea lion show, beach areas, snorkeling, snuba, all of those things. So we're going to share that with you.
Denise, stay back. Could you?
I'm fine.
If you want, I can help you to push her. Don't worry, I can help you. If you are tired, you can tell me. Don't worry.
Okay.
I
How
can
much
help
more
you.
without concrete?
And let me tell you about this. This is in this area, this kind of ceiba. Ceiba was the sacred tree of our ancient Mayas. The Mayas believed long time ago they had a huge tree like this that was with the branches supporting all of the sky. With the roots was supporting all of the roof. Our ancient Mayas believed long time ago when the people die, they believe the soul of the people, if they were a good person in their life, they are getting up to the branches to the paradise. But if they were a bad person when they die, they were taking the roots to the underworld. Something similar as we're thinking about heaven and hell in our Christianity. Ceiba, the sacred tree of our ancient Maya. You can recognize for the spikes. You see the spikes they have there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's like we have in this side.
And is that aloe?
These are enekin. Enekin is a plant for taking fiber.
Oh,
You know the fiber? That's in this case was really very important. I'm going to tell you a little more about this later.
Okay.
Are you good or can I help you?
I'm good for right now. Thank you, though.
Okay, if you decide, please tell me, sir.
Okay.
I can help you for push her, okay?
Okay.
Come on, Marin, please. So let me show you this plant. You told me about this. You asked me about this in this time. Come on, Marin. There is behind that area the cactus, and we call in Spanish enequén. Enequén is the plant for taking the fiber. Our ancient Mayas cut the leaf of this and they take out all of this and they were taking the fiber in. There is a fiber, sisal, you know,
Okay.
and it's for making hammocks, shoes, robes, bags, hats. At the beginning of the 19th, nobody had, any other country had any of these fibers, just that one that is coming from the plant. So you can get an idea how much we have the exportation of this.
Uh-huh.
A lot exportation from our country is originally from this Yucatan Peninsula, from this area. More in our neighbor state, our state, Yucatan state, is in that area where, in this case, we're making a lot of money according to the exportation of this.
Right.
So we call this, in fact, the green gold, because was a lot, this kind of exportation in that epoch, amigos. Enequén is a really very big history we have in this area, and in this case, however, now we have other fibers according to the 1975, 1980, was burning other fibers, plastics, nylons, and others, you know, and was getting down this kind of exportation of this. However, it's used a lot today, but we don't have the exportation as we had before.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, amigos, come on this way, please. And it is in this other side where we have also these kind of gardens. Look at this, how these gardens were raised
raised
up
bed.
off the ground. You need the other wheelchair. I can bring you other wheelchair.
We're okay for
Or
right
you
now.
can have your legs there in that side.
My legs are fine.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Look at the gardens. The gardens were sometimes raised up off the ground.
I have
It
raised
was to
beds.
protect of the domestic animals. Pigs, hams, cows, horses, goats were brought by Spaniards. After the Spaniards, our ancient cultures began to build these gardens, raised it up off the ground. It was to protect of the domestic animals.
Oh, now see, if we raised our bed like this and covered it, maybe we could keep the squirrels out.
But the domestic animals, pigs, hams, cows, horses, goats, were brought after the Spaniards.
yeah.
So it was after the Spaniards.
Oh.
In our American continent, we had wild animals, deer,
Yeah.
jaguars, iguanas, armadillos,
They didn't eat
wild
that.
animals. But in this case, we didn't have this. We didn't have this kind of gardens.
Yeah.
Where the development of this was when the Spaniards came and they brought with them domestic animals, our ancient cultures in Mexico, that they were getting down in that epoch, some of them. however, they were making the descendants of these people, they began to make these kind of special gardens in that area. Okay? But remember this way in this side.
Okay.
Is somebody this way?
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think it's too wide.
Where are we going to
I
go?
think it's too wide.
Or is better to come here by this side?
It's too wide.
Yeah.
Why?
Wide.
You can return. Can I return her?
Okay.
Let me. We have a good ability for this. Don't worry. Okay, amigos. So, are you enjoying? Is it good like this or what do you do?
So we're just let him go. We're doing fine. Yep, we're doing very well.
There is in that area where we have temazcal. Temazcal is an steam bath, you know?
Oh, uh-huh.
You wanna get there?
Yeah, if we can get there.
There we go with you in that side.
Do you want to just go without and come right back?
Sorry?
It's very far.
Yeah, a little bit.
You did? Or do that?
No, we are going through this area, but if you wanna watch there, we can watch in that area. Don't worry. Try to come here little by little. I'm going to explain you a little bit in that area that is really very nice and was built by the ancient cultures long time ago, but made this kind of special activity in this area. From here, I can help you to show you this side. This is the place where they are making the fire and they are burning the rocks, the volcanic rocks. After that, amigos, after to have this, they are taking the stones, the rocks, and they are bringing inside of this. There is the door. You can get in, and they have a hole in the middle where they have the stones there. And the guy that is making this for you, we call them shaman because they have a special knowledge for medicine plants, energy, and other things. So he is making a special tea with medicine plants and water. They are dropping over the stones little by little. You can get in, they close this with a blanket, and you take the steam bath. You can be sit down inside of this, and you are taking this special steam bath for protecting you according to this kind of special. Sometimes we have sickness or problems, pains, with in this case headache, stomach ache, and other different things. So it was for curing you these kind of different things. They are changing the plant according to these kind of bad things that you have in your body. So, however, they aren't working now because this is a scientific medicine against the traditional, you know, that in this case the medicine says now, according to this, we have to avoid to have a lot of people there for coronavirus. But they say we have medicines, we have the plans for avoiding this, and we can be without any problem. But the scientist is the most important for us for the coronavirus, you know.
Yeah.
According to this, that we are respecting this in this side, and people aren't doing this now. But before coronavirus, they were working, they were making the invitation for the tourists, and tourists were making this kind of special activity here, amigos. Was in this case more for having a relaxed time.
Yes.
Because for curing your headache, stomach ache, legs or something, in this case was really difficult because most of the people were coming by cruise ship, and you don't have time to have 3 sessions in a week, for example.
Right.
But when the people are coming by hotels or they are here, they can take this for having any of this kind of during the sickness. But they were making this more for having a relaxed body. In 35, 40 minutes, we offer for you. You can feel how it's relax your body later. It's working very good.
Yeah, one of the doctors,
Uh-huh.
the pharmacies, they learn from
Yeah.
they learn from traditional medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
The Amazon has a lot of plants that are running out,
Yep.
running out of them. It's not
Yeah.
good. They need the plants.
Yeah.
And what kind of plant was this?
That one is maguey. Maguey is the same family of tequila.
Oh,
But
okay.
maguey is for taking anything like something similar like mezcal.
Okay.
You know mezcal?
Yeah.
Mezcal is other one similar to the tequila. Sometimes the people are coming here, for example, and are asking the bottle of the good tequila is with the worm. Where is that one?
That's Mezcal.
And
Mezcal.
that's
Mezcal, yeah.
Mezcal is from Oaxaca, in the south of the Pacific coast of Mexico. Jalisco, in the north of the Pacific of Mexico. Jalisco, where is Guadalajara too, that area is where is the tequila.
Tequila,
So
yeah.
are two plants very different. This is a green agave, the other one is the blue agave for tequila. And Enequén, you remember, is other cactus that is for taking the fiber.
Sea salt.
Yeah.
I told you the sea salt. Yeah. So these are different kind of plants in this area, amigos. And here is in this area where we have also this kind of sorry. This is for going to the San Carrabbas ruins. If you want to watch, the original of this one is in San Carrabbas, our original ruins in this island of Cozumel. This one was like the main entrance on San Carrabbas when the ancient Mayas came from very far places by canoes in this island. Most of the time we're taking this way in that side from the San Carrabbas ruins, and we're getting to this area in that side, like the main entrance, this small arch there. Before to get in, they were making the purification. The people was coming, a priest that was there in that area, and were making the purification, the people to get in San Carrabbas. Have you ever been to San Carrabbas?
No, we haven't.
It's going to the north side of the island, and there are temples, ruins originally built by the ancient Mayas. All of these I am showing you here are just copies, reproductions.
Yeah.
However, we have taken the molds of the originals, the size, to build them. All of these are in any archaeological site, they're originals, okay?
Right.
But these are copies, reproductions.
Yeah.
We have taken the molds of the originals to build them. All of these, remember, are with the same size, with the same shape, even with the same color. You want to go to San Carrabbas, you want to watch the same of these there in that area. Just with a little decoration up, with some plants and these to have beautiful this area, but this is the same architecture, okay? Any question? No questions? Okay, let's go by this way. Let me take this way to get back by the small temple I told you there in that area, and I'm going to show you a little more in that side after this area, the garden, the lagoon, the other different places. Here is in this other side where we have this small temple, and we call this small temple the Seashells Temple. Because look at about, on the top, there are seashells there, you see? The history explains us when the natural winds blew, enter over the windows, and these were the holes of the seashells. Producing with this different air, different sound. The Mayas knew when the weather could be good or bad, according to the directions of the winds, but depended more for the sounds of the conch shells on the top. So it was a special meteorological temple for them. The Mayan Weather Channel, like we call this today. The original of this one is here in this island, but going to the south side of the island where is Punta Sur. Have you ever been to Punta Sur?
No, we have
Punta
not.
Sur is other part going to the south side of the island. That's the same of this company, Parsa Museum Foundation of Cozumel. We have 4 places. Chankanaab Park, Punta Sur, San Carrabbas de Ruins, and in the downtown we have a little museum, the museum of the island. Have these 4 places that in this case are the same company.
Okay.
But look at this orchid behind you. See the orchid here in this side?
Oh, that
Orchid.
plant is an orchid?
That's in
Sure.
this case.
No, this.
Oh, this little
Coming
one
from
right
the
here.
plant.
Right here, this
That's
right
the
here.
plant, the small one. Yeah, that's
Yeah, the little one.
You know, the big one is these bromelians. And look at the flower, the green flower over there. That's the bromelian flower, and this is the orchid flower, okay? That's the orchid is coming from this plant.
Yeah. Sure. Did you see it?
You want to take a picture? Look.
I can get it. I found it. Once I found it,
And we call the orchid of the owl because in the middle of this inside, you can see the face of the owl.
Oh.
You see how is that or no?
Then you can get a macro with me.
You want to watch it?
You can get them. This one will take very close pictures.
We cannot touch them, however.
Yeah.
Look at how it's inside of this, like this upside down. That's in this case different in the side. If we take this in different shapes.
Flip it. Yeah, we can
like-
flip it in the
like
computer.
face of an owl. That's in the middle.
Yeah, we can flip it when we get it in the computer.
You recognize it? Yeah, and you can watch how it's like the face of an owl. That's, in fact, we call this the orchid owl.
Yeah, I can tell.
Any question? No question?
No, you're doing it.
Okay.
Great job.
Let's to continue the tour by this way. So everything we have seen, however, amigos, was Maya. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain you a little more about Olmecs, the oldest culture in our country. We have found today around 17 colossal heads, 17 statues like this in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico area. Everything we have seen, remember, was Maya. The Mayas, I told you, were the most developed civilization, good in architecture, astronomy, mathematics, calendar. However, they weren't the oldest. The oldest in Mexico were Olmecs or Olmecas. They live in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico area, where we have today Veracruz and Tabasco.
Okay.
These actual states in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. When the archaeologists began to make studies about these kind of rocks, they discovered some of them were built around 1800 BC,
Wow.
before Christ. Reason to say they were the oldest civilization in our country. Olmecas in Spanish, Olmecs in English. We have around 60 different statues in all of this area, around
Wow.
60 replicas of these different areas of Mexico. We have chosen the most important, some of the most popular, the most famous, and we have this good area for you to take a quick idea about our history. That's in this case the fighter. However, he wasn't really a fighter, he was a player ball game. Have you ever heard about the ball game? Our ancient Mayas had a traditional ball game.
Yes, I remember reading that.
In this area of Mexico, we have a special tree that we call zapote. And according to the resin of this, we can take this kind of special resin for making chicle, gum, you know. With this, they were making with herbs and other different things the ball. And they were playing the traditional ball game with this. The traditional ball game was made by our ancient Olmecs, Mayas, Aztecs. Most of the different civilizations in Mexico, they had the ball game. So, at the beginning, one of these members of these, that were 4 or 7 people in each team, one against the other, like is in some sport today, they were taking the ball and they were throwing the ball. After that, nobody can touch the ball again with the hands, because it was with a hip. They wore a belt with the leather of the animal, deer or jaguar, to protect the body. With the elbows, also they had also some protection, and also in the legs. So, and with the hip. So they were playing like this.
Original soccer.
So it was like this. But in Chichen Itza, they have there in that side the biggest field where they were playing the ball. There are some big walls of rocks, where in each side they have some rings of rocks. That's not like the basket like this, it's like this. Okay? So they have, it's like this size approximately, they have to throw the ball in that side. Was really very, very important to play the ball game, have the representation of a special ceremony. They believe, in this case, when the people threw the ball there in that side, was the finish of this, and was the in case of this is a discussion among the archaeologists who was sacrificed. Because some people say that were the people who won the game, other people say that was for losing, the loser was sacrificed. But the truth is one of the members, the captain of the team, was sacrificed.
Oh.
Why is a discussion? Because in this case was an honor to be sacrificed, or sometimes was a punishment. So it's in this case a discussion among the archaeologists. They don't know exactly who was sacrificed. Okay?
But I'm thinking I don't want to play.
you wanna be the next captain?
I don't think so. I think I need to go fishing that day.
Okay. Yeah. So these are some of these in this area. Yeah. And look at this in this side. Look at this. Their fiscal traits in the eyes are really very similar to the people from Asia. This is because maybe they came from Barren Strait. You remember about Barren Strait? A glacial way, a connection from Asia to our American continent. The most important theory to say about the origin of this culture is Barren Strait. But what about this other one over here in this side? Look at this one. Sometimes we're huge and very heavy. Wow. 30 tons. 30 tons.
Wow.
How they could move very heavy rocks. 30 tons? They didn't have wheels, no machines, no domestic animals. It's one of the, one of the most important mystery today. We don't know how they could move very heavy rocks. Maybe they cut the logs and they were rolling them.
Yeah.
Or maybe where we have areas with are dry now, were with water, and they were making ancient canoes and they were making,
Floating
they
them in.
moved these, but we don't know. These
Yeah.
are only theories. We aren't sure how was possible the transportation of those very heavy rocks. 35 tons?
Wow.
Oh, how was possible that? That's a mystery. But this mystery, remember, is in different areas of the world. Like in the Egyptian people, in their pyramids, Incas in Peru, Stonehenge in England, in the Eastern Island. This is where we have found very heavy rocks. Nobody knows how they could move. How what? No. Don't worry. We can take it. We have this in this side. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. That's okay. Okay, good. I think that your problem is that you have this in this case. You don't have this kind of thing for your feet there in that side. Because in other pictures, okay. You have this? Okay. Okay, so look at this. This is Ehegatl. Ehegatl was the wind god in the belief of the Aztecs. With this kind of statue, we are starting Aztec area. The Aztec is another famous culture in our country. This one was the wind god in the belief of the Aztec civilization. In the Aztecs, when they built this statue, they put on his face a mask on, like deformation. It was to avoid the bad weather, the bad winds, to protect themselves of storms, hurricanes. Is Ehegatl the wind god in the belief of the Aztec civilization. You have to know the Aztecs were the last of all of these cultures in Mexico. 1200 AD, till the arrival of the Spaniards, 1500 AD. In only 300 years, the Aztecs became other important culture in our country. The Aztecs said that they had a leader, Moctezuma. You remember Moctezuma?
Yep.
He was the leader of the Aztecs and he was fighting against Hernán Cortés. Hernán Cortés was the man who conquered Mexico later in 1521. After that epoch, we are now in Mexico mestizos, because we are a mix with the ancient cultures who were in Mexico, with today the mix of Spaniards. I'm going to show you by this area the Aztec calendar. I'm going to explain you about this in that area. I'm going to show you the most important statues in that area, very, very famous in our country, that are coming now in this side. These are Aztecs. Why the Aztecs are so famous? Because we have a lot of information.
Like this.
Yeah. So we are going to the finish of this area, amigos. This is the last area of this cultural site. After here, I'm going to show you some of these gardens. We have a couple of ponds with dogs, the beautiful lagoon, and the beach area. Okay? Yeah, they have the Aztec calendar. And here is Coyolxauhqui. Look at this. Coyolxauhqui was the fertility goddess or moon goddess by Aztecs. If you find this is a representation of a lady in this position. We have the right hand, her fingers, her left hand, her fingers, her head. She's wearing like a headdress. Her naked chest, she's wearing a belt with a human skull. The right leg, the right foot, her left leg, and the other foot. The original of this one was found at the main square of Mexico City. When our Mexican people were making excavations to fix the cables of the subway in Mexico City, it was found there.
Wow.
In 1978, we had this in our 50 Mexican pesos, a big coin, around 1982, 1983, 4. We had in that epoch, that one, it was a coin, very beautiful. I remember that when I was a child. So, however, amigos now, in this case, have disappeared. But we have in the 10 Mexican pesos now, the Aztec calendar. Today, we have that one. I'm going to show you that in that side, okay? Let me show you others here in this side. Come on with it. Okay, and here is in this other area where we have Coatlicue. Coatlicue, she was the mother of the land or the universe in the belief of the Aztec civilization. Oh, I have to say that they have the front of this one. That's taking this in this side. However, this is Coatlicue, the mother of the land or the universe in the belief of the Aztec civilization. Around of her skirt, she has the decoration with many snakes. Also on the top, she has two heads of snakes, one in front of the other. Coatlicue, the mother of the land or the universe in the belief of the Aztec civilization. And there is an Aztec eagle warrior. When they went to the war for fighting, I told you, like I told you about the jaguar, you remember? Eagles, jaguars, or snakes were really very worshipped in our different cultures in our country. So they wore the typical dress in the shape of these kind of animals to show power for them in that side, okay? So, however, let me please finish this cultural side with these last statues here, the jaguar and the Aztec calendar. Aztec calendar or sunstone, this is maybe the most famous in our country. Very, very popular in any of these 32 states of our country. We have 32 states. You can visit these places, and if they have the handicrafts there in that size, it's easy to find in the stores. How we have these, sometimes in this case, plates, in some of these kind of t-shirts, hats. In many places you can find this. Today is really emblematic in our country. The Aztec calendar or sunstone. At the center of this statue you can find Tonatiuh. Tonatiuh, he was the sun god in the belief of the Aztecs. Around we have 4 squares. Each square was for each season: spring, summer, fall, winter. A little more around, if you want to count these other squares, we have 20 little squares. Each of these 20 little squares was for each day. They had in the ancient times 18 months with 20 days each. 18 by 20 was 360 plus 5 sacred days. At the end of these, they had 365 days. Very similar to our Gregorian calendar we use today. However, our Gregorian calendar was made by the Pope Gregory in 1584. 300 years before our Gregorian calendar we use today, the Aztec had this one. But many years before the Aztec calendar in Mexico, the Mayas were the first who had the most important. After the Mayan calendar, the next cultures took a copy and made their own calendar later. So the original of this one is today in the National Museum of Anthropology and History in Mexico City. There are most of these that are here in this area, with the exception of that one that is Coyolxauhqui, that's in this case in the Templo Mayor in Mexico City. All of these are in the Mexico City, but in different museums, okay? So these are some of these that you can find in this area. The Aztec calendar or sunstone, you want a picture like this, I invite the people to make a picture like this. Carrying the calendar. You want a picture for you?
You want one, Ken? You can get one. I'll let him get one.
Yeah,
I'll get a picture of him.
For a picture for you. Good. Very good.
There you go.
One with my friend too.
Okay.
Have you ever taken?
Yeah.
Okay. One with him.
Okay. Very good.
So let's go now to the garden, to the lagoon.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the other places now, amigo.
I hope you enjoyed this video. There are more videos in this playlist. You'll see a link up here. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit subscribe. Also hit the like button so that YouTube knows there's good content. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.